Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back. This is just a little bit of stuff I've been working on. I know I haven't made a video there in a few weeks. So what'll I go for first? Okay, these guys I got for my birthday. These are just some Reaper miniatures. So they're not actually converted at all, but I suppose I need to actually get back into actually just painting. Do you know what I mean? So this is a orc merchant. I think he's half orc merchant, and he's got a lot of gear on him, and he's a like I do find it interesting when people post different painting tutorials and kind of techniques and stuff, but I never really I prefer it when people show off their unique kind of made stuff, you know. This is cheating here as well, but it's a good tip. See the little kind of coin symbol on his staff here. The little tiny detail was done with like an actual pen. So that's just a little tip, I suppose. If you ever, especially for scrolls and books, if you want to do tiny little writing, it's just a lot easier. And the dwarf here with his tankard. And the base, I actually love the bases. They come out really well with the X foam stuff or foam X. Just to put a little bit of texture in them for the stonework. It's really easy, and I think it adds to it. Like, be it a tavern or be it I suppose a dungeon. A little halfling chef here with his little soup. He was a lot of fun as well. A lot of character in that guy as well. Um, Very bright clothes, very hobbit looking, halfling hobbit. You know, same thing. That's him. Those guys. So like they're cool. They're interesting, but there's just not a lot to them. Little things like this, right? This is a Rancor from a Star Wars. I think it's a Star Wars Risk, like the board game Risk. So he's just undercoated, but scale wise, you know, in the game of Risk, you have got tons of little pieces, you know, to represent different unit strengths, I think. But so this guy must be pretty good. So I got a little multi pack of these guys and gave him just a little weapon here with toothpick and a stone. And I just thought they were kind of perfect size for 28mm. You know, you could have them as a tribe. You know, if you pick them up on eBay or that kind of thing, they could count as kind of troglodytes maybe, or bullywogs or something like this. You can paint them up really quickly with a green and a dry brush. They've actually got tons of little detail in them for their scale. You know, you wouldn't even have to give them a weapon. Like, look at all that. That'll dry brush up really nice. And you could get a ton of them on the table really quickly. What else? So these guys, this is the worm I made there a while ago, just with the PVA and tissue paper for the body. And this is all, the teeth are all milliput and just some gloss there. So I thought the maw was really cool. I really love the maw. So I just made them, or made her maybe, little babies. So how many we got? We got 5 little babies. Just enough for an encounter, I suppose. So they can all come out. And all painted just the same techniques. And same kind of painting on the bases, just so I'd have enough in to do a decent encounter. That guy's a bit small. They're really quick to put together and they're a lot of fun. Just the dry brushing on the base just adds so much to it. Like, that's so easy to do. Do you know what I mean? It just adds just so much character to it rather than just a black base. You know what I mean? What else we got? This guy. This is just weird. This is what happens when you have leftover green stuff. You know, if you're doing a big project or you're doing something that needs a good bit of green stuff, and then you might have some left over because you don't want to do too much work on it at the same time, because you might mess up what you've done already. So this is just spare bits of green stuff turned into this disgusting. I have no idea what this is. Monster. I'm thinking it could be. When I started it, I had no idea what I was doing or what I was making, but I think it's going to be like a cockatrice kind of idea. So okay, if you can pick this out, well done. This is actually a Chansey, one of those little Pokemon minifigures for the body. Now I don't ask me why it turned into this. I just did. This is from a Carrion Crawler from Hero Quest, I think it's called. Just this big goopy bit. I think it's sick or something coming out of him. I just thought it'd be an interesting tale. Get some hot glue going down the back for a spine, just for some detail, because the Chansey body was really smooth. And then the wings are just wire and toothpicks. And this disgusting face that I had sculpted. Same thing again. I think it was just spare milliput. Or just, you know, if you're not bothered doing anything too extravagant, you know, just to have a little bit of spare. I think I was testing out this kind of idea with the balls for eyes. So he or she or it should be fun to paint up when I have it done eventually. What else we got? So this is a yeah, this is just a toy. This is a Digimon toy. I think this is like from when I was a kid. I found it when I was at home. I just kind of repainted him up a different color. And I think he had a little horn or something here. I just gave him a nose instead. So I have no idea what this could be, but obviously medium sized, quick paint job. Yeah, Greymon I think it's called. Metal Greymon. Wait, no, scale wise, who do I have got for scale? Don't know where my Barbarian is, but I have her at the moment. Yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool monster. Use him for something. I don't even question it. I just go ahead and paint them or go ahead and make them like... These guys are some Pokemon, right? These are from the little minifigures, Pokemon minifigures. So these two cats, I've got two of these. So these are going to be pets for a beholder. So they have one eye. So I have no idea what power they're going to have. They have some slightly kind of eye markings on them. I didn't want the markings to be perfect either. I want, because you know the way cats, like even house cats, are kind of mixed markings. They never really have the same. And the eye is just a little bit of green stuff because their face was pretty boring. A really, really quick paint job again, but these bases really fit things together, you know. But I think a beholder would be the type of creature to have some cats. What else we got? This guy here. So this is a kind of a few things put together. This is a Minotaur, obviously, I suppose. His same kind of base idea. His body, right, and his arms, I think. This arm, anyway, was from a Halo HeroClix. It was a brute, so just a lot of fur. You know what I mean? I think I gave him some hooves, not the best sculpted with green stuff, but just an idea of hooves. You know, his tail as well, sculpted on. I see when I think of I was going to say Taurens. When I think of Minotaurs or Minotaurs, I think of them more Tauren size, like medium size Tauren from World of Warcraft, we'll say. So medium size, like, so he would be, actually he's quite huge against her, but still he's still technically a medium monster. So all the armor and stuff is kind of futuristic looking, maybe. I was trying to make it a bit more mystical looking because it's from a Tauren. Now, and the head, so this is kind of cheating, I suppose. This is just from a little model cow. So I just clipped it off and stuck it on there instead of having to sculpt it all up. And the horns are green stuff and wire. Same with this little beard here. Just because it's faster. So I didn't have to go and sculpt up a cow head. This bit here was off Night Goblin as well, kind of a banner. And I was like, I don't know why I went with it. It's from a nursery rhyme, I think, you know, the cow that jumped over the moon. Little dog laughed to see such fun. Something like that. Dish ran away with the spoon. Okay, I was actually surprised I remembered that. But yeah, that's whatever that nursery rhyme is. I can't remember. And this is just orc. Tough boy, what are they called? Ard boys. Black orc, that's what they are. Black orc, just weapon. On just to give him some kind of weapon there. See, the thing I don't like is he's such a blank expression. I could have really sculpted more on there to give him some kind of expression, because this is kind of, the stance is quite active, but the expression is just completely dead eye. But just as it goes, I thought that was a cool idea to kind of mix them all together. Now these are more little Pokemon. Well, this one isn't Pokemon. Let's go him. This is the little skull. Skull spider, I think it's called. It's quite big actually. That skull. One of the skulls I got for Halloween that I hadn't used for that big creature, bone kind of creature I had made. This guy was just a bit of wire and a sculpting on the face for a spider. So pretty big, still medium size. I'm not sure what the rules are, but I thought I'd try something like that. Now it could be done better where you just attach it to an actual toy spider, but I thought that was pretty cool. What else? These guys are two little Pokemon here. Let's go with him. He's a Regirock. So these guys are great. I've had these on some other videos as well. Just the multi-packs you can get from eBay and stuff. I got one, and geez, I think I got 144, something like that, Pokemon for €14. So you don't get to pick which ones you get, but it's fun to open them to see what you get and what you can come up with. Like this guy just had some extra rocks stuck onto him. So that's a small orc golem there. Could be a construct as well. So he's quite fun. And then you got this guy as well, which is Graveler. Same kind of idea. So he's got a very cartoony face. So I suppose you could sculpt over that if you wanted to. But this guy's one of my favorite ones because he really takes. He honestly, you don't really have to paint him too much if you don't want that, because he's actually like quite well sculpted. You just maybe take off some mold lines, but he's a lot of fun. I like him. And then this guy is a mix of a little dinosaur figure for the head, is kind of long neck. I don't know what kind of long neck you call him. Long neck, like a little foot, I suppose. And then the shell here and the magma body of that other Pokemon that's like Slugma, but it's the evolution of Slugma. I can't remember his name. But yeah, just another weird little creature. Like, no, these don't have stats or anything. These are just, you know, little weird little creatures. And to go with those Pokemon as well, right? I've got so many at this point that I have a few of these, which is the Mega Evolution of Absol, I think the name is. So I've taken a few of the details off, and you'll see like this is the sculpting you get. Like, look, it's not great, but for multiple monsters, like look at that nasty mold line. Multiple monsters, they're very cheap if you're lucky enough to get a few. So my idea for these ones are to be some kind of demi sphinx, because they have the wings, they have not bipedal, what is it? Quadrupedal? Well, maybe that's when you're in a wheelchair, I'm not sure. But you know, that I'm just going to sculpt some kind of human faces on them, or have a go at it anyway. And this looks like hair, so they're kind of like demi sphinx, just because they're quite small, you know, they're going to be quite small. But I think that could be an interesting idea. Last up, let's see, what do we got? We got these three guys are Hellhounds, I think they are, from the Magic the Gathering board game, and these are super simple paint up. Like, these guys were just, they weren't even undercoated, they were just kind of dry brush with the flames and the mouth and the feet, and just going to try put them on this kind of longer base here, kind of robbing ideas here from Crafts and Minis, just something like that. Like, the bases aren't even dry, but that's why my fingers are covered in paint. But this is kind of what I'm working on. A few other little things on the go as well. Like, oh yeah, this guy. That's just a Golem Arcana guy. Kind of have a lot of fun coming up with some kind of scenic base for him to include this tree. So I suppose that's another tip as well. Don't glue things until you're sure what you're doing. Like, look, this guy is pinned. Don't glue things until you're sure what you're doing. Because I remember first time, that's one of the things I did first. I got a big set of Warhammer orcs, fantasy orcs, way back in the day. And I just went mad gluing them all together before I knew it was even a game. And I kind of ruined them. I ruined them because they couldn't even stand together in the regiment. If anybody, I suppose, understands what I'm saying, because they've got little square 1x1 bases. They have to stand straight beside each other in a big, let's say, rectangular square. And so you have to really figure out what you're doing with the weapons, stuff like that. And I just went mad because I was a kid and just kind of stuck on whatever. And it was a lot of fun. I'm not even ashamed like to say it or anything. It was a lot of fun. And honestly, that's kind of what I do now anyway. If I was to buy the orcs, you just make them for something that's cool rather than actually functional for that game anyway. But yeah, just that's a tip, I suppose, to use things like masking tape and things like the blue tack or whatever kind of sticky put or whatever it's called wherever you're from, to just dry fit things before you stick them together, because it does make a ton difference, and you don't want to go wasting your time either. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. That's a little video, little things I've been working on. Like I said, there's other things I can't show you right now because they're not ready. But yeah, cheers, good luck.